It is Wednesday, May 14th. We're going to talk about people pleasing and how we can create cleaner and better boundaries in our life. This is Wednesdays with Gene. I am the eponymous Gene Montrestelli. Every Wednesday, we are here live at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Do a little tapping. These are presented by the Tapping Mastery Academy, which is a great way for you to go absolutely deeper in your dive into understanding and getting more out of tapping every single time we sit down to tap. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to spend some time talking about creating boundaries, being people pleasers, and some really simple tapping that we can do to make it easier for us to be comfortable inside of our own skin as we navigate our day, as we stand up for ourselves, we put ourselves in a position that allow us to live authentic lives. Because one of the things that happens when we are a people pleaser is because we are doing such a good job of taking care of everyone around us, we are doing a much, much, much poorer job of taking care of ourselves in the exact same way. Before we jump in, just a couple quick reminders for those in the Tapping Mastery Academy who've already joined. We got office hours on the 16th and the 20th. Next Wednesday, we're going to be back here talking on the deep fear of being unlovable and making it easier for us to engage with that. And on June 2nd, we're going to be starting the next version of the Upper Limits Busters. If you're on the mailing list, you can check all of that out. You'll get information about that starting on Monday. And so one of the things that we like to do when we're going to sit down, we're going to do a little tapping just like this, is we're going to start out with just 90 seconds of wordless tapping. Put ourselves in our body to be fully present. So all you're going to do is just move from tapping point to tapping point. Take a nice, easy, deep breath. And just scan your system. And again, remember, as we scan our system, scan the entire system. I have a tendency to stop at my hips. You know, as I say that out loud, that's as much for me as it is for you. And as you move from point to point, just notice what's going on in your system. Oh, nice big stretch, shake, move, make some notes, see what came bubbling up in there. Maybe there is an insight. Maybe there's a task that you now realize you want to do. You just solved a problem. Maybe there is some tail ender that showed up that you're going to have to address when we get done here. That's okay. Make sure you jot all of that down. If you're looking for a way to track every single one of your tapping sessions, I have an absolutely free resource. It's called the Tapping Tracker. There's a 30-day version. There's a 90-day version. We got a Word version that you can type directly into, a PDF that's beautiful that you can print out. This is exactly how I track my tapping every single day when I sit down to tap. So this is something that's tried and true. I've been using this for a couple of years. Not only is it a great way to keep you on track, so you tap more consistently, but it's also a great way for you to gather information so that as you're moving through the tapping, you're engaging in a different way. So you're making sure you're getting the most out of each and every round of tapping. I just want to say hi to the folks who've already checked in. We got folks in Kansas City, Missouri, in Oregon, in Wyoming. We got friends in both Queens and Brooklyn. Rainy day here in New York. Thanks for joining us. Washington, Pennsylvania, folks in California. Again, still free to say hi and let us know where you're joining from. It's just nice to know that when we're tapping on this stuff, we're talking about the stuff that we are not alone. So today, what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about and do some tapping on this idea of being a people pleaser. And there is like, as much as we hear that, it's like, oh, I'm a people pleaser. I don't want to be a people pleaser. It's a bad thing to be a people pleaser. It's important to recognize where the tendency to be a people pleaser comes from. So I think it comes in a couple of layers. The first layer is, particularly for the people who are joining us here on this, is that if you're interested in transformation, if you're interested in tapping, more than likely you are a natural helper. And because you are a natural helper, when there is struggle, when there is strife, when there is an obstacle, you reach out. And so we have this natural sense of reaching out. And when we do that, when we are helpful and it's appreciated, because it's not always appreciated, but when we do it and when it's appreciated, we are getting reinforcement. Basically what is happening in some small way is we are being classically conditioned. Pavlov's dogs. That I do something good, someone thanks me. Someone showers me with praise. Someone acknowledges my presence. And, I am, and this is super, super true, I am, as much as, if not more, very, very, very susceptible to flattery. You compliment my work. You compliment my work ethic. You compliment the way the things I create impact your life or impact the world for a better way. I am going to like you if you say nice things about me. I've always joked about the fact, and it's a joke, but it's not, tell me I'm useful and compliment my shoes and I am yours forever. Like I'm a very, very simple human in that particular way. And so for those of us who are natural helpers, even if it's irregularly, even if it's not every single time, when we are helpful to others and we get affirmation, it seeds in us the realization and the usefulness that being helpful makes a difference. And it puts me in a place where I'm able to engage in that particular way. So that's the first layer. The second layer is a layer of safety. Because if I am useful, if I am doing things that is making your life easier, you are much more likely to keep me around. And on a very, very, very base human level, we are in a circumstance where we want to belong. There is a biological imperative for us to be part of a community in such a way that we are safe. Because there is a point in human history 5, 6, 10,000 years ago that if we were pushed outside of the tribe, we would die. And that's not hyperbole. I would say we would literally die. And when I use the word literal, I'm using the older definition of literal, not the millennial definition of literal. We would literally die. And so it makes sense that there is a part of us that wants to belong. And the way we belong is we are helpful, and the way that we're helpful is we take care of the people around us. So now, when we have the combination of these two things, I get positive affirmation when I am helpful, and I am in a circumstance where I am safer because I'm part of the community because I'm useful. It makes sense that we start to believe and we start to train ourselves into thinking, again, on a subconscious level, we're typically not doing this consciously, where if I take care of everyone around me, if I put myself last, if I hear other people's needs, then I'm in a circumstance where I'm acceptable, I am appreciated, and I am safe. And so I think the first thing that is super, super important, because when I'm working with my clients and they are frustrated by the fact that they are moving and operating from their people-pleasing points of views, I think it's really, really important before we step into that to appreciate and acknowledge the fact that we have these tendencies comes from and is rooted in us trying to take care of ourselves. So even though intellectually we can understand consistently putting myself last and not taking care of myself in this particular way can be detrimental to me, by engaging and recognizing the fact that it has this root in this history makes it easier for me to be gentle with myself. And being gentle with myself is not giving myself a pass. Being gentle with myself is recognizing my context. There are lots of people who are in circumstances where, when we talk about the sense of me being a people pleaser keeps me safe, it is possible that in your childhood, that might have been true. That you were in a household, that the way that you fit in, the way that the adults took care of you was because you were a people pleaser in that particular way. So the first thing that I want to do as we step into this issue and we step into any other issue is to recognize that we've landed here because we've landed here. And it isn't necessarily a moral failing on my part that I am constantly a people pleaser. So let's just start there. Everybody's tapping the side of the hand. Take a nice big deep breath. And tap on the collarbone. Take another nice big deep breath. And then just move from point to point. I recognize the fact that there are times in which my people-pleasing tendencies get the best of me. There are times in which taking care of other people's needs first is frustrating and disappointing because I am not doing what I need to be doing to take care of me. But at the exact same time, I recognize and appreciate the fact I did not consciously become a people pleaser. I did not consciously decide to put myself last. Instead, I recognize the fact that I picked up people-pleasing tendencies as a way of keeping myself safe, as a way of keeping myself healthy, as a way of keeping me a part of the tribe. And so I give myself permission to be gentle with myself, recognizing the fact that even though I don't stand up for myself as much as I would like to, even though I put up other people's needs first, even though I don't say no when I should be saying no, I recognize this has shown up because of my human nature and because of my lived experience. And I give myself permission to be gentle with myself. And this does not mean I'm giving myself a pass. This does not mean I'm letting go of responsibility. Instead, it means I'm simply recognizing the reality of how I ended up with people-pleasing tendencies. Big stretch. Oh, nice big deep breath. What came bubbling up? What did we stir up as we were tapping through that? Jo, I'm not exactly sure I understand your question. Feel free to ask that again a slightly different way. I'm missing some of the context there. And again, as you tune into that, pay attention. What came bubbling up? Jot it down. Write down the tail enders. Maybe there was a phrase or two that really resonated with you that you want to tap on again. If there was one of those phrases, drop into the chat box. I'd love to hear what those phrases are. We can tap to reinforce those. What was that first experience of just engaging with this idea of, oh, there's a story behind how I ended up here? Oh, make sure you drink your waters. We're tapping our way through this as well. Excellent. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I want to tap on this idea of unsafe that comes along with creating a change. So take a nice big deep breath. And wherever you are, watching this live, watching this after the fact, I just want you to say this out loud and I want you to complete this sentence. And you might not know the answer to this, and we're not looking for a perfect answer, and give yourself permission to sit with it and just see what bubbles up. It is unsafe for me to stop my people-pleasing tendencies because. Again, say it out loud. It is unsafe for me to stop my people-pleasing tendencies because. And what do you notice? You'll be judged. You're going to be disliked. You're going to be ostracized. People only keep you around because you are doing that. So let's just tap. Tip your top of the head and just move from point to point. I recognize the fact there is a part of me that wants to create a change. There is a part of me that wants to show up in new and different ways. There is a part of me that wants to be firm. That wants to be authentic. And at the exact same time, there's a part of me that is afraid that if I engage in this way, if I start to stand up for myself, if I occasionally say no, if I don't force myself to take care of everyone else, the things are going to go badly. There's a part of me that's afraid that the only reason I am valuable and acceptable is if I take care of someone else. And I give myself permission to know it is actually safe for me to not have to constantly be taking care of those around me and putting myself last. I can find value and I can find worth in being in a situation where I take care of myself. I give myself permission to know it is safe for me to transform these tendencies. I give myself permission to know I am allowed to let go of these tendencies. I am worthy more than putting myself last. I am worthy of more than just the crumbs of life. And even as I say all of that, there is a part of me that doesn't know how to create change yet. There's a part of me that doesn't know how to show up in new ways yet. And I give myself permission to know that I don't have to. Know how to do this yet. The only thing I need to know is that it is possible. It is safe. It is allowed. I give myself permission to also recognize the fact that standing up for myself and not having to care for everyone else is not an all or nothing proposition. And I'm not going to get it right on the first try. My goal for today is to not put myself last one more time than I would have otherwise. I give myself permission to be gentle with myself as this change slowly unfolds. It is okay for me to trust myself as I grow into this. Nice easy breath. Again, what do you notice? What are the things that come bubbling up? What are the things that resonate? I love this insight Inga had from earlier. People pleasing is not a moral shortcoming, but a reaction to what I learned from the environment in my childhood. And this is just, it's so key. Like, there is a difference between me wanting to change and me doing something wrong. Because sometimes we're in a circumstance where we learn approaches just as a survival mechanism and we're not taught anything else. It's so good to know that I don't have to know how to do this because I've been trying to do this for what feels like centuries. Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, like one of the things that also happens is when we're in a circumstance where we want appreciation, acceptance from someone in our lives, a family member, to constantly be pleasing them to get them to appreciate us, it feels like, oh, if I just did one more thing, oh, if I just did this a little better, oh, if I was just a little more perfect, they're going to like us. And so that's another thing that actually trains us into wanting to do this. Not only does it give us affirmation, but sometimes we think it's the way we get affirmation. You know, one of the things that they found really interestingly is with mice, and they're like, you know, they push a button and they get a treat. They push a button, they get a treat. They found that mice become much more addicted to the treat if they're not given the treat every single time. That's the reason why when we go to our phone and we go and we check social media or we check Instagram or we check our inbox, the fact that there isn't always something there for us actually makes it more addictive. And so when we're in a circumstance where we occasionally get a little affirmation and it tastes so good, we're willing to go farther and farther and further to get that. So as we step into the day, take a nice big deep breath, or as we step into the rest of the day, no matter when you're listening to this, I want you to tune into your sense of self. And that could just be like the stillest, smallest voice and the stillest, quietest little light. Like when I tune into myself right now, I just tune into like this very rigid, strong core. And however big, however small that sense of self is, tap on the side of the hand. And what I want you to do is I just want you to feel yourself amplify it by 10%. Not double it in size, not triple it in size, but just see it grow. And maybe it grows in intensity. Maybe it grows in size. Maybe it grows in strength. Maybe it grows in volume. Tap on the collarbone and just feel that sense. Just grow 10%. And as you exhale, just feel it in every fiber. And as you tap on the chin, I am worthy of growing my sense of self. It is safe for me to grow my sense of self. I give myself permission to grow my sense of self. It is safe for me to grow my sense of self today. I'm allowed to grow my self today. I'm worthy of growing my sense of self. And I deserve to grow my sense of self. Stretch, move, shake, have some water, take some notes. I certainly feel more upright. I feel like there's more of me. I feel like I'm ready to lean into my day in a slightly different way. I hope it did the exact same thing for you. You know, we did about 20 minutes of tapping right there around creating that sense of self, about being safe, about being comfortable in transforming this thing. If you want to just jump back, go back to the beginning, tap through this again, bookmark this, come back again and again and again. The less you are operating out of, I have to do this to care for everyone else, and the more I'm operating out of this because this is an articulation of me. And this is super important. Doing something that is operating as an articulation of me does not mean I'm doing things for me. When I do things for others, I can do things for others as a desperate sense to be connected, or I can do stuff where I'm taking care of others as an articulation of who I am as a human. It's a statement of who I am in the world. And when it's motivated from that place, it's coming from me, which is a buildup of from where I am coming from. So, awesomeness. Just a couple of quick footnotes. Number one, tappingpodcast.com episode 661 is going up today. You're going to love it. It goes a perfect complement with what we've been tapping along right here. Also, if you want to join us as part of the Tapping Mastery Academy, tappingqa.com/TMA, you'll immediately get access to the Tapping Mastery Blueprint, which is the 5 essential ways that I think every single person should know when they are learning tapping. If you have these 5 approaches, it is going to transform everything that you do. Thanks for hanging out with us. We are here every single Wednesday. Next week, we're going to be talking about and tapping on being more comfortable with a little more self-acceptance and self-love, something that all of us could do. If you know someone in your life who might want to join us, the highest compliment you can pay to me is to pass this along to someone else. Invite someone to join us for next week or share the link from what we did right here with someone in your life. It would mean the absolute world to me. If you're watching this after the fact, 24 hours afterwards, as you look at the screen, on the screen right now, you will see a playlist with every single thing that we have done on the YouTube websites with these live streams. I look forward to talking with you and tapping with you again next Wednesday. I'll see you guys at 11 a.m. Have a great day. Bye-bye.